closer, my child.
What's going on, people? Back with another mixtape. Got Bryan once again with me. Welcome back to the show, Bryan.
Thanks for having me on, bro. Let's have
some
fun.
Always. And again, I know this is kind of shill, kind of nonsense, but hey, if you guys like this content, please subscribe. If you're listening on I shouldn't say audio only. It's actually audio and video on Spotify. I think it's audio only on Apple. You probably should watch, but if you just listen, still 5-star review if you got it. Second, that'd be really appreciated. So, with that being said, I've got a few funny videos, and we're going to show some of those. So, like I said, we told you we would try to get some more funny ones, and I think I did just that. But I want to start right away. Just first off, some kind of timely news. I figured I had to show these videos before we got to Bryan. What are you doing over there?
Oh, sorry. I was fixing my microphone.
Maybe turn it off when you're fixing it.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
There's I figured that we have some videos that are kind of timely. They need to happen before Christmas. So I've got a pretty interesting one involving the Pope and portals. Let's watch that right now.
A day before Christmas, the Pope will be opening 5 ancient sealed portals for the first time ever. And you heard me right, portals. These portals have been guarded and bricked up for centuries, but the Pope has decided it is time to walk through them. This is a ceremony that happens every 25 years where the Pope opens a metaphorical portal, but this time is very different. Because for the first time ever, he wants to open a real portal, and 5 of them. On Christmas Eve, the Pope is going to rise from his chair and walk towards the portal. It then says he will open the portal, and the good Catholic people who are brave enough will enter the portal and cross into the spiritual realm. And it says brave because this isn't a normal just door. This is because normally they just walk through a door led by the Pope to absorb your sins and misdeeds. But this door right here is going to lead everyone into a portal in a different realm, which is why the Pope is going to lead the way and is why it has been bricked up for centuries. So why did Pope Francis decide this is the year to test it out? We don't know. I guess we'll stay to find out.
Well, isn't that fascinating?
Well, like, what's that even about? I mean, obviously, is this just a lost in translation issue when they're saying they're going to open up a portal? It's like, okay, so that's a door, and then there's something that's bricked up. But I mean, like, I guess I'm kind of confused. I guess I should have probably researched this a little bit more. But like, what is that? What are they even talking about? Like, obviously, there's these physical doors, and it's some kind of symbolic thing where they're washing their sins away. I think you can just ask Jesus to do that. What's happening, Bryan? I heard somebody even say there was like a portal to, there was a door of Paul and there was also a door of Lucifer. I might have just heard that, and I'm not sure if I can verify that, but maybe I can look that up now.
I heard the Paul. I heard both of those doors, the door of Paul and the door of Lucifer, or the tomb of Lucifer or something it was like called, or the tomb of Paul. I don't know, how valid this stuff is, but what I do know is that the Catholic Church does have big doors in their Vatican Hall. And big doors are usually for big people like Nephilim. And the Vatican also happens to have a very large antiquity collection of antiquity with a lot of things that they've reserved or recovered or kept. And in that place, they've supposedly had been keeping the remains of Nephilim bones or giant bones, along with a bunch of unique artifacts and special artifacts that are not normal and not usual. So there's a lot of Nephilim-esque activity that goes on at the Vatican, let alone their statues and all the things that they have around their whole Vatican place. So it does seem very peculiar that they're opening portals. I mean, like, that would definitely, I don't know how valid these portal opening things are unless they're like drawing pentagrams on the ground and like conjuring demons. I don't know how valid these portals are. I mean, like, what other things are going to be a portal opening to other than you're not opening a portal to heaven? You ain't getting in there. It says anybody that goes in the gate around is a thief and a liar, right? So you're not obviously opening a portal to a good place. You'd be opening a portal to a bad place no matter what. But is that actually what they're saying it is? Is it actual portals, JT? Is like that's what it is? Or what are they calling it?
I guess that's where I'm confused. That's why I'm not really finding anything specific. It's just I wonder if that's just people are just getting. I mean, we naturally assume the weirdest when it comes to the Vatican, so I can't find. I'll try to do a little more digging to see if I can find anything interesting. But the whole. I mean, obviously, the language portals in English gives us visions of something. But I mean, it sounds in the way that it's like you're walking through a physical opening and then some kind of spiritual thing happens. So, I mean, it's kind of like maybe it's not a language issue because, I mean, that's kind of like what we're getting at.
Is it
It's just the whole thing. The whole thing is weird. It's like, that you would enter some room and then you'd get your sins washed away. It's like, that's not how that works. Following some man. Yeah, that's not how this works. So the whole thing is just
man.
It's bizarre, but it is interesting that supposedly that opening was bricked up for centuries, and they're going to open it for Christmas Eve.
It is very fascinating. Hey, did you have that other Pope video of the other one that I sent with the dancing? Because I feel like we should play that one right along with it.
Yeah, that actually could. Yeah, you're a good call. I think that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, because I feel like, a lot of times people are like, oh, but it's the Pope. It's got to be something holy and not pagan and not evil. It's Catholic and it's Christian, right? Except for this video, which is a very fascinating video. And you just got to play it to see it. Is he burning himself there? I think he's just burning his leg. He's just like cooking his leg. Wow. So burned flesh, cooking his leg, holding fire.
Yeah.
Burning. What?
Those wacky Catholics. It's like you're having that in your church. Like, what is, like, you obviously that is some kind of pagan satanic thing that guy's doing right there. I mean, at first I thought,
how do you not recognize it? Like,
I saw all the feathers and I was thinking it was the plumed serpent, but it was more, it did have like a bird head. So
no, it's the plumed serpent. That's
I mean, it might be related
totally
to
what
that.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
that's what all that feathered stuff is on the Native Americans. It all representations of the plumed serpent, and it's the Lady of Guadalupe. He did have
a bird. It was a bird face on the front. So either way, it's like what's he doing? It's like he's got some little idol or some little altar that he's burning something in. He's like burning some kind of incense. Do you remember when
in front of that Pope dude right there? I don't know. Do you
remember when Aaron's sons in the Book of Exodus were killed because they were burning strange fire? It's like, I mean, talk about burning strange fire. Like, yeah, these people have no fear of the Lord doing that kind of stuff, and obviously, like the everything is fine crowd would say, oh, well, that's just cultural. No, it's not just cultural. It's like culture, cult. These come from from religions and rituals and all that kind of stuff. Is like, that is not of God. We know that's not of our God. That's just, I mean, they should know better. But I think that is kind of what you see with the Catholics and the mixing of just pagan traditions. They kind of like absorbed like the different kinds of, rituals of the place.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you go like to the south east in America, you have all that kind of like, they pray to the dead. And then you go into Mexico and they have the Day of the Dead. And then the Catholics, it works perfectly with whatever they believe, because they'll pray to the saints or they'll do this and they'll honor Mary. It's like, once you can kind of see what they're doing, it's pretty obvious. But like, that's, yeah. The fish rots from the head down. You see like the Pope doing this weird, this weird things with the portals, opening portals. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, where are you getting? Is there any kind of scriptural backing of any of this stuff? Obviously, that's a rhetorical question. The answer is no.
The answer is no, for sure. Okay, let's see the next thing.
Okay, this is good right here, Brian. This is also timely because King James, not the KJV Bible, LeBron King James. He just said he needed a rest from his activities, and people are speculating, why did LeBron James have to take a little vacation from not only the Lakers but also social media?
I'm gonna start this off, since I'm the man of the hour, the man of the show. I want to ask LeBron, what does he mean by there's no party like a Diddy party? I truly want to know. And not only that, LeBron, how many Diddy parties have you actually been to? I'm really curious to know. And is that the reason you left social media? Because all the backlash you were getting for going to so many Diddy parties? It's just pathetic, man. People think this guy's a role model. He wants to defund the police, the most patriot people of America, serving and protecting our country. LeBron, you're a scumbag, and I hope you get locked up in the same cell with Diddy.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well. That's a little.
What do you think? What do you think about that? See, what do you think? Well, what do you think LeBron meant? Ain't nothing like a Diddy party.
I think he meant exactly what you think he meant. And I think LeBron James is involved in some debaucherous pagan activities of perversion that are so disturbing you can't even speak about them on this network here because we're on YouTube. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, there is a channel, okay? It's called Soft White Underbelly. Have you heard of this before?
I have not.
Okay, Soft White Underbelly. Okay, guys, I want you to Google it and then type in Soft White Underbelly Diddy party. There is a girl who this guy interviews people from the streets, like prostitutes, and he does interviews with people, and he's got this amazing testimony. We've interviewed some guy that used to be a drug addict that became a Christian, who's a pastor and cat praiser people now. And he was just dude, crazy testimony. He's got some cool interviews, but he just interviews people that are from the hood. Right. And so he found this random chick that was on a previous interview, she had mentioned that she had gone to a really debaucherous Diddy party with small people. She called them small people because she didn't want to use the word child, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And she said these small people, she said, I'm not going to say who. And she mentions this in her previous interview. Okay. And then he brings her back after the Diddy stuff came on because a bunch of people said in her interview, she's lying and she made it up and that's not true, blah, blah, blah. Well, he brought her back. And this was years ago before the Diddy thing came out. Brought her back on and had her in the interview, and she full on unleashes what she knows about the Diddy party situation and explains about there being small people involved at the Diddy parties. And she said they were lined up and dressed like Harajuku dolls. And she said they were in the corner. It's really disturbing, actually. And I don't think the girl's lying at all. She seems very genuine. And she's just I don't know if she was, a lady of the night or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I don't know what she was originally, but she got brought in because she did music and other stuff. Bro, Soft White Underbelly. Guys, look it up. Watch the interview. If you really want to know what kind of stuff is going on, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows what other stuff is involved. As a person from the outside that was able to see this much, there's so much more darker, deeper things that are more disturbing. She said she thought it was a part of a set or a movie or something when she went into it because it was so outlandish, and she was just kind of shocked that there would be children and things like this involved in this situation. Anyways, I think that's what LeBron James meant about no party like a Diddy party, because I'm pretty sure LeBron James is one of those people that has a lot of money and a lot of power, and when you get a lot of money and a lot of power, what do you want? You want corruption. You want what you can't have.
Well, you should probably the things you can have,
yep.
Right? Well, here's
leads
interesting.
You into depravity.
Here's interesting. I got a follow-up video because I think this is actually really interesting. Interesting take.
So let's talk real quick. Okay, I'm curious about we ask everybody who sits down.
Yes.
First question out of everybody's mouth. We got to ask. You've been to a Diddy party?
Nah.
Damn, you didn't get an invite?
I feel real good. God has blessed me. A lot of people can't stand on business right now. Right. I can stand on the whole business. But boy, there's some people right now that's shook. Let me tell you right now, Hollywood quiet. Bro.
I know it.
Bryan, town in Hollywood, people trying to get their alibis together. It's about to go down. Them tapes about to drop.
Hold on a second, Bill.
He's been saying that for weeks.
No, because
Hollywood is so quiet.
they have to be scared. Let me tell you what I'm sad
Terrified.
for. Okay, the fact that you think you partying with another celeb and we all good, right? That's what everybody probably thinking.
Yep.
You get to keep your secrets, and this dude just sat up there and taped everything.
Yo, but this is a thing that I'm taking it one more step further, right? It's one thing to go to a party and know what you did. Yo, there's people that don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So now you like, what? Wait a minute. Was you with me? Was you?
Yeah,
wait a minute.
that's true.
Crazy.
Because now you don't know what you did, and then you get the phone call because Cass is getting the phone calls.
They getting
right
the phone
now.
calls now.
Bureau of Investigation.
Right.
Pull up at 2:00.
Look, everybody that's on the investigation, they getting the package at the door.
Yo!
Look, it's a red phone. You got the
Listen,
answer.
listen to me clearly, right? It's interesting right now to me that everybody thought Cat Williams was crazy. He's a prophet.
Oh, I know.
Cat Williams is a prophet. He forced source. I don't know. Somebody gave him some eyewitness news. He said
did.
he dropped it and walked
And
away.
left.
And boom! It wasn't even 6 weeks later.
Okay, but hold on a second, Bill. This is what everybody kept saying when you think about it. That was the beginning of 2024, right? Think about it. He did that. When was that interview? Like January?
Roughly.
Yeah.
And you're right. We haven't heard from him. And people said that 2024 was the year of reveal. What do you guys think 2025 is going to be?
The year of jail. Man, all the concerts gonna be in jail.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, man, I'm going in there to see Tory. I'm going in to see.
Really? I'm going in to see Diddy.
Everybody gonna be in there.
Dirt.
I'm gonna see
God.
Dirt. Hey, man, it's gonna be the best concerts in jail. Man, I'm about to go to Folsom Prison, man. They got bye. I'm getting VIP. I'm in the yard.
It's gonna be like, yo, there's so much talent upstate right now.
What?
It's full of it.
Bro, and I'm telling you, that's the only way you're gonna see somebody is in jail.
That's pretty comical.
Do you know who Bill Bellamy is?
No, I don't.
See, Bill Bellamy, he was like one of those MTV VJs back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So he was obviously friends with lots of these people, so I'm sure he was there on MTV when he was still called Puff Daddy. He was on that when he was first rapping with Biggie and all that stuff. But yeah, like that's a great call too, because it's like these people go to these parties. Obviously, they do all kinds of substances that they shouldn't. They don't remember things, and obviously, people could be giving them things unbeknownst to them, and they don't know what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then they woke up and they're compromised. It's like that's obviously when you're dealing with people who are of low character. Yeah, like you would need to have your wits about you. Actually, if you had your wits about you, you would not go.
Yeah.
But yeah, like go back to LeBron. It's like ain't no party like a Diddy party. We're good with that, LeBron. We're good. We're glad they're not all like that, because when you say something like that, it does imply like, okay, so what do you mean by that? Somebody should ask him that question. Like, obviously, that's the next time he's in public. Somebody should ask him that question. What did you mean by that?
Let's
Because
go
there's
to
lots of
LeBron.
parties with beautiful women and alcohol and all the things. But what did you mean by that?
Someone needs to go to a basketball game where LeBron's playing and just hold a sign that says, "What does this mean? What does ain't no party like a Diddy party mean, LeBron?" Like, just hold the sign up. That would be hilarious. That would be so funny.
But that's the thing. He's not playing basketball right now. He's taking a break. And it's like people are wondering why he's taking a break. Some people are speculating that he's being traded. That could be true. But I mean, yeah, like it's funny. I forgot who said it. It was just like that. Maybe it was Jason Whitlock. He was saying, you don't need to tell people you're taking a break from social media. Just take a break. Like, you don't need to announce, like, people will know if you stop posting. Like, you don't have to say it. But it is interesting that he's taking a break from the Lakers and he's taking a break from social media. Yeah, I do think that that's the whole thing where it's like that.
They don't want people going there and asking questions is what they don't want. They don't want someone going over there with a sign, standing up at the games. There's probably people going with signs at the games. What do you want to bet? I bet there was people at the games holding signs. What does the Diddy party mean? LeBron.
Yeah, and
I bet you there was people there. Like,
and
guaranteed.
LeBron, if there's anybody in the club, LeBron is in the club. LeBron does everything. He does all the social stances he's supposed to. He does his weird
hand symbols.
Yeah, all his hand symbols when he's getting ready. He's doing all the sixes. He's doing the Osiris Risen stuff. He's doing everything. He's even got like a cherub tattoo on himself. And
It's multiple reasons. One, because 23 is one of my favorite numbers as well. So, 2 times 3 is 6. Also, my first son is October 6th, the 6th day of October, and my youngest son is June 14th, the 6th month of the year. So, 6 has always been, with me, stuck with me, even since I was like a kid for some odd reason, and then especially when I started having my family. And obviously I'm a big numbers guy too, so it made a lot of sense. But shout out crypto.com, man. 6 years and
I think he's in what they call it the Bole, is the people of colors basically secret club. He's in that. But yeah, I do think it's interesting. Again, to go back to the Cat Williams stuff, is like he was on Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp's podcast. That thing's probably got over 100 million views by now. Probably one of the most successful podcasts of all time. And yeah, he's a prophet. Obviously, somebody told him that all the stuff was about to go down for sure, because he was like talking about it, and he was talking about like TD Jakes, famous, prosperity pastor, obviously false teacher, involved with P. Diddy, at the same parties and doing all the same things, allegedly. It's interesting. I think a lot of us have said for years that we knew these people were like this. The Jay-Z stuff comes out. Oh yeah. It does feel a little bit good to see some validation of we've been saying this, but will all these people go down for these crimes? It won't be true justice on this earth, I don't believe, until the Great White Throne.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. But dude, the amount of wicked depravity and stuff that they're involved in is just it's overloaded. I think it's hilarious that they called Cat Williams a prophet. I think it's so funny. It's so funny because it's so obvious that he knew something somehow, somewhere. He was told something. So if people think Cat Williams isn't a part of the club, he's a part of the club too, by the way, guys. If you haven't figured that one out, how else would he know this? You know what I mean? He knew something somehow.
Yeah, so somebody tipped him off. Yeah, for sure. He knew. He was obviously had a smirk on his face. He knew what was going to happen.
Dude, which is crazy to think about it, because it is why is that coming down right now? What is their purpose? It's part of the chaos. They want chaos out of order, or order out of chaos.
All right, let's check out the next video. I've got a funny one.
One other one I gotta say, for those that don't know why P. Diddy's called P. Diddy. Okay, there's a video. Somebody goes, so why does your name go from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy? And P. Diddy goes, oh, I can't tell you that right now on live. And he says this, right? And because his name is P. Diddler, okay? It went from, for the word, what's the pedo word that people start with a P?
the pizza. He's a pizza diddler.
He's a pizza diddler. And if you know what the term diddler means, it means to... we know what
term. We know what diddler means.
It's not good. So that's why he's P. Diddy, guy. Just so you know, guys, it's a very, very disturbing term. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
I have to tell people because people don't know.
Okay, so all right, we're gonna go to the next video. It's gonna be funny, Bryan.
Okay, good.
Senator, do you have some time for a quick interview?
I'm on my way to a meeting.
It'll just be a few minutes.
What?
Do you have any comments on the irregularities in the mail-in voting?
I don't think there are any irregularities in the mail-in voting. I think the Republicans knew that. They knew it when they were advocating mail-in voting. This entire thing is a spectacle.
What do you think about the debates so far?
I think this administration does not treat any of our democratic process with dignity and respect, okay? This is a vulgar and crass administration. This is ridiculous. America is built on customs, traditions, rituals. It's built on respect for institutions. This administration has none of it.
Do you think the president's going to accept the results of the election?
Well, we're actually going to discuss that right now. That's you caught me on my way to a meeting to discuss just that.
What is the meeting? Where are you going?
It's an election year, and there's a lot of interested parties, and what we're trying to do is safeguard a democracy of the people, for the people, by the people. That's what we're doing. How did you find me?
I was tailing you for a little bit.
Clever boy, huh?
Yeah.
Why don't you come cover it?
Really?
Come cover the meeting.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Come cover the meeting.
Absolutely.
I think it's a good idea.
I think so too.
You want to get some footage, right?
Yeah, please.
You're going to meet a lot of interesting people.
Thank you so much.
What
are you doing?
Kind of accurate with our society and our government, unfortunately. That's the disturbing part, is that it's comical and that people, you know, it's funny. I think it's funny because people make videos like this and it's like, we're joking, or like, what's that one video? That one guy that also made a video about the Illuminati and then he died shortly thereafter, that comedian. He's like,
yeah. The guy from, was it The Whitest Kid You Know? Is that show?
So, I think that's what it is. Yeah. And he was
I
just
think
like,
was his name Connor, I think, something like that.
I don't know, but he did a video and he was like,
he had some really good skits and he quite a few like that. And he was
like, welcome to the Illuminati. And he's like, oh, hi. Like, and people are making these jokes in these videos and it's like so clearly true. Like, and people think it's a joke. It's like, dude, to the point where we're making content about it because it's comical. Like, there's so many people know that this is going on. So many people know that it's going on, that there's videos like this that are hilarious. Because it's reality, guys. It's reality, and humor is part of reality.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like, it's satire. I mean, so like, it's funny because it's true. Like, it would, if it wasn't true, it would be like, that's really weird. But obviously, people know about Bohemian Grove and all these elite politicians and world leaders and people from all over getting in the woods, doing weird rituals, and was it the cremation of care and all this weird stuff they're doing in front of like a giant owl? Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. And of course, one of the symbols of the Illuminati is an owl, the Minerval owl.
Surprise.
It's really strange that they do this, and obviously it's dark humor, but it's funny because like this is all we really have to do. I mean, I think that's kind of like what a lot of our platforms are, is that we just say these things and we expose it, and it's not like we can go fight against this kind of stuff in a literal sense. So this is the best way we can do it, by like,
but we are fighting against it. By
we are spiritually fighting against it. But yeah, like we're just trying to wake people up to this. Like this is the best way we can do it.
Dude, you know, did you see the video of that guy that's broke into the Bohemian Grove and he filmed the whole area? Did you see that?
Well, that was Alex Jones, right? That was the Alex Jones thing.
Recently, another guy went in with a camera, broke into Bohemian Grove's abandoned environment and filmed behind the owl. He filmed all the spaces.
Oh, I have seen that, but there was really nothing interesting.
There was something. Yeah, there was definitely something. He broke into the building. He said it was like a morgue, but it was also a kitchen. And it was like disturbing because it was like a kitchen/morgue space.
I'll have to dig that up.
Bad. And there was another part he broke into that was like the rooms. And at the end of the rooms, there were caged bedrooms that were short, like for children. Like,
are you sure? Yeah, no, that's the kind of thing. It's like, can we verify that was real?
It's a whole room. It's not a joke. It's an entire room, and there was like a metal bar thing that was like, and they had like locks and latches on it. And so he opened the room. And it was like decorated and everything, and had a tiny little bed in the corner, and it was too tall for you to stand on.
I think we need to verify if that's true, because that seems like that would have got a lot more attention if that was legit.
Bro, I'm pretty sure it's legit. I'm almost to the point where I was going to go explore it and check it out myself, because I was like, dude, this is disturbing.
Gosh, I would, like I said, I would be wary of trying to. Oh, yeah, that could get you into trouble.
For sure. But like, dude, the dude broke in, and it's legit. Like, it seems pretty legit.
All right, let's go to the next video, and this will be an interesting one. I think this one you'll find. We might have talked about this at another time, but very, very strange animals.
You guys are familiar with goats, yes? Here's a pretty standard-looking one. Here's a charming family portrait of a normal goat beside a human man. Keep that in mind. Now, up close, they can be a bit odd to look at, right? And I acknowledge that. But I've never quite understood how people can look at them and think, this is the animal that's in cahoots with the devil. I never quite believed that if Satan himself was going to pop up here to wreak havoc on the earth, he would do it looking like one of these biscuit-brained bellends. Until someone showed me a Damascus goat. I'm going to ease you into looking at these things, because I'm actually worried that if we go 0 to 100 right out the gate, I might actually give people a new phobia. Starting off soft, we've got a baby Damascus goat here. For some reason we decided they needed 8 feet of ear leather and to resemble Dren from Splice as closely as physically possible. Moving on. Not too bad by goat standards. The face is kicking it at half-mast for some reason, but we've all seen bulldogs and pugs, so nothing too shocking. They said be there or be square, and this guy missed the party. I know that beauty is in the eye of the beholder is a phrase we all know, but I feel a responsibility right now to tell you that some of these pictures come from a Damascus goat beauty pageant. Keeping that in mind, this is genuinely one of the most horrific looking animals I've ever seen in my life. Also, I don't know why we make it their beauty standard to have ears down to their knees just so we can cut them off. Like, that one's not on the goat, that one is firmly on us. I feel like I'm softening the blow with this one because I actually kind of like this one, where it's wee shy horns and its little expression that says, "Come over here. I don't have any ill intentions, I promise." I feel like you guys are now ready to see the body, the full package. You might say, that's rough, man. That is rough. Those haunted basketball heads really don't get any easier to look at. Don't even ask me what is going on here. And yes, that's a human man kneeling behind it. They have the bodies of small horses for some reason. Okay, I feel like I've prepared you enough. This might be the first time I've ever put a trigger warning on an animal. Wait for the body. Just wait for the body reveal. Me sideways. The stoic indifference of a demigod as he melts in the fire he started to watch humanity burn for our arrogance. This pose and the framing, it's like if you typed Renaissance era nightmare goat into an AI image generator. What does he store in his voluptuous chin waddle? The universe is truly full of secrets. This is just so unnecessary. The amount of folds and crevices. What does this man need to be storing? Why is he staring knowingly at someone behind the camera as if they're having a snide conversation about me and he just dropped a line that's extremely questionable in terms of offensiveness? I mean, surely this is what Satan actually pictured for his Earthside persona and not just some wee guy with horns. Despite everything I've said here today, I love Damascus goats. I actually think they're great, and I really hope that Mr. Taro here spreads that message to his entire network of Damascus goats for completely not selfish reasons.
What in the world?
Yeah, the Damascus goats, I've seen them before. I've seen that video too, the one that she showed, and when I first saw it, I was like, what is that thing? And like literally I had to look it up, and it was like, dang, that thing is weird looking. It almost looks borderline human-esque with its goat face. It's just like so flat-faced, and then it's so unusual. Damascus goats are so weird looking.
It's like, did God really make an animal to look that ugly? I don't know. I think that has to be some kind of a twisted breeding genetic, accident.
Oh yeah,
right?
It seems like it seems like some Nephilim offspring half-breed mixed creature, for sure.
Well, it's interesting. Damascus, obviously, you have that region. Damascus in the Bible is typically not a good place. Were they doing weird stuff to the goats in that area?
Well, isn't there a promise that Damascus will be laid waste and it will be full of nothing but satyrs? Is that Damascus?
I think I'm not sure if that was. I don't think the satyrs are mentioned in Damascus, but there is prophecies about the destruction of Damascus. It's interesting that a lot of people who are of futurist eschatology, they'll say, "Oh well, Damascus has not been destroyed yet," but they quote Isaiah chapter 17. And Isaiah is clearly talking about the times of Isaiah, that it's going to be destroyed. And it was destroyed in the times of Isaiah. Like, I think it was like 832 or the 830s BC, at least what we're told. The Assyrians destroyed Damascus.
Yeah.
And then I think
it's
later
destroyed again right now.
And then I think later Babylon destroyed it. So that prophecy, the reason people try to tie that to the end times is for reasons. There's no good reasons, because obviously it's not mentioned in the book of Revelation. I think obviously as we went down the Gunnar Heinsohn rabbit hole and we continue to research that, it likely was destroyed again, like everything else was destroyed in that certain time period, and the sometime in the first millennium AD, sometime after Jesus. Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that because that's so bizarre. Like I don't even know what to say. I thought everyone should probably see that at least once.
The Damascus goats. Got it.
I think we're gonna shiv we're gonna shift gears dramatically because I have some. Let's look at some kind of. Since we were talking about the short season just for a second, let's talk about a weird part of the short season stuff about the maybe mud flood underground things. I always think that subject is super interesting.
Oh yeah,
we're going to check out the ninjas.
This.
Ninjas are butterflies, guys, for the first video.
Oh, I like these guys.
Greenbrier Hotel. Have you heard of that?
No.
So, a hotel that is 5 hours away from Washington, D.C. was built like early 1900s, and they're going to do some renovations to it. And a lot of presidents, royal members, like all these elites of the world, they would go and stay at this hotel. So, the U.S. government commissioned 120,000 square foot bunker underneath this hotel. Literally no one knew about it. The hotel staff didn't even know about it.
Crazy.
For over 30 years.
Wow.
How did it get discovered?
This is where it gets crazy because the Washington Post basically was granted permission to talk about this bunker that was underneath this hotel. That article came out in 1992, and then the government stopped using this bunker in 1995, which is the same year the Denver airport was finished.
Typical.
This bunker underneath the Greenbrier Hotel, it had like a Congress room and everything. So it's like literally where like all the U.S. elites would go in case of a...
How does that just happen? What are they hiding? What's going on in
weird.
there?
That's fascinating, especially that it like was they stopped using it right after they built the Denver airport, because we all know that the Denver airport spent way too much money working on their underground department at the Denver airport, for those that don't know, and was very, very obviously there's a whole special underground component supposedly for transferring luggage that just never properly worked. I think is that what it was for?
There was supposedly, which is interesting. Like spoilers, we're going to show a Denver airport video here in a second. It's going to be mine. That being said, when I researched the Denver airport, there was the wildest range in numbers of how much this electric or this mechanical baggage claim that was underground that never worked properly. I saw $700 million. I saw $200 million. Either way. It's like it's underground and it didn't work, and they just abandoned it. They didn't use it anymore. Does that make sense to anyone? Like that you would invest that much money in for it to not work? And then, interestingly enough, I think that the first estimates of what the Denver airport was supposed to cost to build was around $2 billion. By the time they finished, it was almost $4 billion. And people say, oh, well, that's crazy. So obviously a lot of extra money could have gone into all the things we don't know about or all the things we're curious about. But what doesn't get talked about a lot is after I started doing a video about it, I learned that they've been renovating the airport. I'm sure if you guys have been into it, you probably know that. Anybody who's around there, they've been renovating it, I think, since 2018. Do you know how much the budget to renovate the airport was?
$660,000.
$4 billion.
Another $4 billion, doubling.
Yeah, so like the idea that it was almost $2 billion over budget, and then $4 billion being a lot of money, right? At least, I mean, obviously today's terms are funny money. $4 billion to renovate it.
Wow.
Like, what did they even need to do to renovate an airport that's not even very old?
Well, I know they added those gargoyles that now say home of the Illuminati, and they talk to you. And then and they've got like alien things everywhere. And they actually had this plaque that said, originally in the airport, this plaque that said the New World Order Airport.
Oh, yeah, I've got all that stuff. I mean, I'll have to share. Maybe I'll have to trickle out some of these videos. But let's watch this one, because this will tie right into kind of this same topic. I got to ask about the underground stuff again. So they say there's miles of underground tunnels. This is not even this is not speculating. They say they don't go that far, but they go miles. I mean, so the airport, I think they say is like 54 square miles, 33,000 square acres. So obviously just to go around the airport, it's miles. So my question is, if there's not an underground city under the Denver airport, is it because there's actually an underground city 95 miles to the south of the Denver airport? Talking about the Cheyenne Mountain Complex.
A giant military facility tucked into a mountain, the top secret Cheyenne Mountain Complex in Colorado Springs, can withstand a nuclear attack. It's like a mini underground city, an engineering marvel. And tonight, my co-anchor Eric Connor takes you on a tour of one of the safest spots in the world.
On the outside, it looks like your typical mountain, but inside is one of the most advanced military installations ever.
We were designed for a nuclear blast.
Stephen Rose is the deputy director for the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, which houses 13 Department of Defense agencies. He's bringing us inside the tunnels. These 2 doors, weighing 23 tons each, lead to 15 multi-story buildings.
They're made of Navy-grade steel. And but you wouldn't tell it, that we try to normalize the feel of the mountain as you work here.
At any given time, 150 to 300 people are working inside, tracking every threat to North America.
It's like a mini city underground.
The 5-acre site sits under a mile of granite and was built nearly 50 years ago.
The main tunnel was designed in the Soviet time frame, when Cold War, the height of the Cold War, to allow any blast attack, to allow the blast to pass straight on through the mountains. The buildings would ride on these springs and never touch the granite. They'd essentially bounce.
The buildings rest on 1,500 of those giant springs, so even if an earthquake happened, the building would make it. All of the pipes are also built to withstand a blast.
Water, sewage, anything going into these buildings actually has to flex with the bouncing as well. So that, because it doesn't make any good if the buildings survive, the people survive, but then you don't have the electricity of the communication lines to continue.
That place sounds like it's ready for anything. So my question is, why would you not build a tunnel from the Denver airport to that? Because wouldn't it make sense to have a tunnel to get to a super secret underground secure facility? Because obviously if everything was going crazy up on the top of the earth, wouldn't it make more sense to fly into the airport, go straight underground and get to that base? Because why wouldn't they want to do that? Fly into the airport, the major airport, you go underground. Makes sense to me. So when they just say nuh-uh, I ask questions like, why not? And you get answers like, well, 95 miles is too far. As a big World War II buff, or used to be, the French in the 30s built the Maginot Line, which is like 280 miles of fortifications, underground, electric trains, a massive undertaking. And the French did this in the 30s. 1957, NORAD became a thing. They started building, I think, in the 60s. So in 60 years, could the United States build a tunnel 95 miles long? The answer is obviously yes, they could. The Gotthard Tunnel in Switzerland is 35 miles straight through rock. How many years it took them to do that? Nowhere near 60. Maybe, this could be a theory, sorry guys. Is it possible that they built the airport so far outside of Denver because they already had tunnels that went that way? A lot of people ask the question, if the tunnels went all the way to NORAD, how could they build that and no one know? Which I would say is, well, the one side is top secret. So what if they dug the majority of the way on the top secret side, and then they only had to dig kind of a little bit far on the airport side to connect with the tunnel they already dug or dug later? I think it makes sense to do that. I think where the suspicion comes in when they just outright deny it like it's a stupid idea. Like, why would we ever think that would be a thing? Well, why do you have anything underground if not for something bad is going to happen one day and you'll need it, right? So even if the murals are not predicting something that they've had planned, something bad will happen one day, right? Because that's why you have the base, just in case.
Seems
so yeah,
suspicious.
so they have this underground city that could possibly, some people have theorized, could be connected to the Denver airport. And so that's the crazy thing. It's like, isn't it just kind of crazy how he says there's 15 multi-story buildings on springs under this mountain? That seems like a big deal. And it's like, even they were saying 200 to 300 people working there. That's not a lot of people if you have 15 multi-story buildings, right?
Oh yeah. That seems pretty reasonable in its scope of capability of what they're doing there. I mean, like, if they're building that, then obviously they have some kind of massive ability to hollow out rock and, to build a 15-story building inside of a cave. Like, what the heck, man? Like, what kind of rock technology do they have that we don't know about, that they're like digging these holes out? Like,
you know what?
I don't know, man.
That's a great question, and that's going to lead into the video I want to go right to, because I think this is the question I've had, and I think that a lot of people believe, and of course I kind of hinted at in that video where I was saying, what if the tunnels were already there? and they built the airport over something that was already existing. You know, because people did complain a while back, like when they were creating the airport, because it was like Denver didn't really need a new airport, supposedly. And then they built it like 20 miles outside the city. And I think people complained because it's like, why did the other one was more convenient? So you made it, this one's further out. So why did they put that one there? What if there was already some kind of infrastructure under it? That was the reason they picked that location. So yeah, to check this video out, this is another underground, just weird thing.
Most American companies can be found in business parks and high-rises, but some, they're a bit lower. SubTropolis is an industrial business complex 160 feet beneath Kansas City, Missouri. Carved out of 170-million-year-old limestone, the artificial cave is 1,100 acres, or roughly the size of 140 football fields. The grid of 16-foot-high, 40-foot-wide tunnels are separated by 25-foot square support pillars. SubTropolis is catacombed with nearly 11 miles of paved roads and several miles of railroad track, all leading to spaces occupied by such entities as the United States Postal Service, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and the National Archives and Records Administration. In all, some 1,000 workers spend all of their workdays underground, where year-round temperatures naturally fall between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. SubTropolis was the brainchild of Lamar Hunt, the late owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. The facility is the largest of its kind on the planet. Stay curious, my friends.
That is a very fascinating, thing to explore, I would say. I mean, like, dude, think about how much, what kind of equipment did they use to dig that out? You know, there's something that's important that needs to note here, actually, because people don't know this, but like dwarves were known for working rocks. Okay, dwarves had a special ability to manipulate. Dwarves had a special ability to manipulate rocks, and dwarves could also. So do demons. Demons have an ability to manipulate rocks. So it's fascinating to see these governmental structures built straight through rock, and it's just like, dude, what kind of tools? How long does it take to build that? What level of involvement do they have with those tools? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. When you see the model, I think you posted another video on our Instagram things. I thought this one was a little better because that model it was shown, it was 1,100 acres. What? 11 miles of paved road under there? I mean, like, okay, so we're told that it was almost like this is an afterthought because they were mining limestone and then they just dug this whole thing out. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, full disclosure, I don't know much about mining. You know, so I don't know that they normally mine perfectly where they could actually just hollow some place out like that. I mean, was every bit of this just limestone down there and they were just digging it all out and then, oh, hey, you know, this cave's pretty cool now. It's like pretty big. Let's like use this for something. I looked it up and it said that this took 4 years for them to do that. To mine that out.
4 years to make that whole thing.
Yeah, I think it said, you look it up. I looked up on ChatGPT.
Oh my
how long
gosh.
did it take? Yeah, so 1,100. Well, yeah, so interesting. So I mentioned that.
And then they stuck a bunch of government entities in the building. Are you kidding me?
The post office. Like, what is the post office doing down there? Losing mail?
That's ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. So I mentioned in my Denver airport video that the Gothard Tunnel, and we'll have to show that video one time soon here, is that Gothard Tunnel is kind of connected some, you know, kind of maybe just in the spirit with CERN. It's this tunnel that's near CERN, and they had the most demonic opening ceremony when they opened this tunnel, and it was 35 miles through a mountain. So it took them 17 years to tunnel out a road. This is 1,100 acres, 11 miles of roads under there, all the pillars and all the infrastructure. To me, yeah,
that's
I would
insane.
have to. It's really hard for me to fathom how big that is and what a massive undertaking that is. Imagine trying to get electricity to all parts of it. I mean, like, this is, oh man,
bro.
Yeah, I don't get it. It seems to me, based on the research I've done, that, and I'll grant it, it's not all that extensive, the research I've done. I've watched many TikTok videos about subjects like this. But no, the whole idea of like that there's this underground infrastructure in the country, and there's underground cities, there's underground bases. But that's the funny thing. I was like, I never heard of
SubTropolis.
Yeah, SubTropolis. Like, I never heard of that.
The Gothard Tunnel is 35.5 miles long. 35.5 miles long. One single tunnel, just a hole in the ground. 35.5 miles long. How big is SubTropolis? SubTropolis is
it was 1,100 acres.
Wow. How big is SubTropolis? And okay, dude, that is insane. 55 square miles. Okay, it took them 17 years to dig the Gothard Tunnel that was 35 miles. SubTropolis is 55 square. Bro, that is insane. That is not even, and they did it in 4 years, supposedly.
Okay, so it says, here's what ChatGPT says. In 1964, limestone mining began and created the foundation, which would later become SubTropolis. It said late 1960s and 1970s, initial sections were adapted for storage and business. So it's saying in here, it's basically saying like that this stuff happened. The mining began in 1964, and by the late 1960s, they were already adapting storage parts for business. So that's pretty quick to go from a mine to to start. Hey, this would be usable space.
This is insane.
It does not make sense. Obviously, if you think about that timeline too, because it's like this is kind of recent too. You're talking about 60 years ago that this stuff started happening, and it's like I think a lot of the really, the stuff that happened in the early 1900s, the 19th century, we can kind of say like, well, it's really hard for us to pin that kind of stuff down. But I mean, now we're getting to the times where like people who would have been alive would have said, no, that underground part was there for a lot longer. But I mean, maybe now we're getting to the point where those people would be past too. And now they're just unveiling this stuff to the public of like, hell, look how cool this stuff is.
You know what it reminds me of? It almost reminds me of the Cyclopean artwork. It's like, oh yeah, like, just within one generation, it's like you've forgotten how those things were built. And it's like, oh yeah, they were built by giants. And like one generation later, it was like, no, they're not. They were just built by people. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, they're just like feeding us some lie. Like, who knows? Like the cave could have been built by demons for all we know at this point. Like straight up, demons probably built the cave. They probably broke a deal with the government and said, hey, we got a deal. You want to use our cave? Give us this many children and you can have our caves. Like, who knows? Like at this point,
it's really, I mean, it is insane to think about that stuff is there. And like, I don't know. I don't know, dude. People just do that stuff. I don't know. It just, it blows me away that I just learned about that SubTropolis place, but I wonder how many places like it there are. Because I mean, obviously, I thought that like places like the Cheyenne Mountain Complex were kind of one-off places, but apparently not. It's interesting if you ever seen like those old pictures of Kansas City when it was buried. You ever seen those, Brian? So I think Kansas City seems to be a pretty significant place as far as like, not that it's not now anyways, but let me see if I can go into my, I had some.
Well, the Chiefs hung out there, right? The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, you got that. Let's see if I got a Kansas City and the mud flood stuff. There's some interesting pictures of that. You ever seen those pictures?
No. Dang. That is like some deep digging.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, the answer is like, so those are like from the 1800s, those pictures. There's obviously no chance that anyone built a building right onto the side, like would not have dug that part out before you built the building. You would never let dirt like that lay against a building, your building.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's another one. I think let me see, pull this up.
It's hard to see what's going on in that one, but
I think this might be another one.
Wow. Look at that. Oh.
How insane is that?
There was one that looked like it was like a church next to it. Go back.
Let me see if I got
that one. Is that it? Oh, okay, never mind.
There's another one that's a little harder to see, but
wow.
Yeah, and these are 1870s. It's
Fascinating.
pretty nutso stuff. That's kind of looks like that same picture.
Oh, there's
Kansas
a different
City.
one.
Kansas City might be more significant than we even know, and not just because of Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift. Here, we'll share one more video, and this will be a good way to probably end. This is we can speculate wildly about this video here.
Strangest coincidences in history. On December 5th, 1664, a ship sank off the coast of Wales in the Menai Strait. All 81 passengers lost their lives in the wreck, save for one survivor. His name was Hugh Williams. Then on December 5th, 1785, another ship sunk in the same spot. Once again, the only survivor was a man named Hugh Williams. In 1820, yet another ship sank in the same location. Once again, the only survivor was a guy named, you guessed it, Hugh Williams. Now, you'll sometimes read this third wreck occurred on December 5th as well, although in truth, the shipwreck actually occurred on August 5th of that year. The date probably got changed to make the coincidence sound even stranger. But the coincidence is plenty strange enough all on its own. That's because on August 19th, 1889, a coal barge sunk in the same area. This time there were two survivors. And I know what you're thinking. One of these guys has to be named Hugh Williams, right? Well, not exactly, because both of them were.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a strange coincidental thing. It makes me want to look it up because I know that there's things like this that seem like maybe not true, but I've actually heard this one before. And but I didn't look it up, so I don't know how valid it is. But there is totally like some replicating. Seems like we're in a simulation thing going on over and over and over, which kind of replicate like it kind of like gives heed to the whole Lincoln Ford assassination commonality things, where it was like Ford was killed in a Lincoln and Lincoln was killed in the Ford Theater. And it was just like, there's just like so many, and they were born like at a certain time and their dates. Like, dude, when you see all the anomalies, it's almost like, are these people real or is this made up history? It makes me wonder if it's like, do we even know the validity of this?
I think that this situation here specifically with the shipwreck, it reminds me of the flamenco stuff. It reminds me of this Gunnar Heinsohn stuff where I don't think that we live in a simulation. I think that the history is all fake. So the history is like, and it's not even necessarily that it was meant to be fake. It was meant to be like that some of these events got, like our timeline is like years have been added to it. And then so these certain events that have happened, it's like they sound, well, that sounds very similar to this other time. So like in the Gunnar Heinsohn video, there's so many issues that are almost exactly the same. And it's like, yeah, it's because it happened at the same time. And so that it's only later that historians tried to spread things out to try to fill in 1,000 years. And that's why the event, it's kind of like they have like the proto Huns and then actually the real Huns. So there's like all these barbarians tribes sound very similar to the ones that Rome's dealing with. It's because they're all the same. Because it was at the same time, Obviously, this situation where you have shipwreck, the same guy like Hugh Williams. I mean, yeah, there's just no way those coincidences like that are real. I did like one of the top comments in the comment section was saying, "Now I'm going to look on any kind of flight or ship I'm going on. I'm not getting on any kind of boat that has Hugh Williams on there."
For sure, yeah, for sure.
If there's a Hugh Williams on that ship, I'm not getting on board.
How lucky are you if your name is Hugh Williams? You can go on anything and be fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, unless you had any loved ones on that boat. Good grief! I mean, it's just like just unbelievable.
For sure.
Well, anyways, guys, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got a few laughs out of it. Actually, I have a lot more videos to show, but yeah, it was interesting the way things went. Obviously, we talked about some stuff that, we laughed a little bit. We talked about some dark stuff. We talked about some underground stuff, and we laughed a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed this one more than the previous darker episodes.
Yeah, we try to keep it chill.
Yeah. But once again, guys, hey, we got a new Ancient Angels coming out soon. Obviously, we're going to be updating those weekly. So I'm going to keep that. I'll always put those links in the description. So check out Bryan's channel, Demon Racers on YouTube, and you'll be able to check out the latest episode of Ancient Angels podcast. Because, we're doing that weekly as well.
Yep. It'll be awesome. All right. Thanks for jumping on.
Well, anyways, guys, God bless you. See you next time.
Come closer, my child.